Welcome to this new Sirius webinar, where we explore the latest advancement of the Sirius project. I'm Mélanie Bats, I'm the CTO at Obeo, and I'm really delighted to have each of you with us today for, I expect, an insightful look into what's new and what's next in the world of Sirius. Together, we'll uncover the latest technological marvels and unveil the roadmap that charts the course for Sirius' future. So, buckle up for an intense session. Without further ado, let's dive into the world of Sirius. Okay, Sirius comes in two flavors, desktop and web. Today, we'll take you through both, exploring the features and unique aspects of each. Let's dive into the world of Sirius Desktop and Sirius Web, two sides of the same innovative project. Now, let's focus first on Sirius Desktop and discover the latest enhancements. In 2023, Sirius Desktop continues to thrive with a series of updates, demonstrating our commitment to ongoing improvement. With a combination of major and maintenance releases, we are dedicated to delivering enhanced features and performance. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the key highlights of Sirius Desktop evolution in the past year in the next slides. So, we've taken a significant step by moving the Sirius Desktop code to GitHub. The entire project is now accessible, fostering collaboration and still, as usual, transparency. So as we transition our code to GitHub, we invite you to leverage the power of GitHub issues now instead of the Bugzilla. And this platform is your go-to space for reporting bugs and suggesting features. Additionally, forum discussions have found a new home also. Instead of using the classical Eclipse forum, now we're moving to the GitHub discussions. So head over to GitHub discussions to share your thoughts, ideas, and feedback about Sirius Desktop. It's really a space designed for collaborative discussions with the community. Ensuring the long-term success of Sirius Desktop is our priority at Obeo. So, as part of this commitment, we've upgraded key dependencies: Apache to version 1.16, Java to version 17, and Geth Classic to version 3.17. So these enhancements contribute to the project stability and performance. Our ongoing efforts guarantee that Sirius remains at the forefront of technology. Let's delve into the latest additions, starting with undo and redo actions from properties view. So this year, in Sirius Desktop, we've streamlined the process, and now you can easily undo and redo actions done from the properties view. So this is the first new of a long series of new things. The next one. So next on our list of new features is support for expanding tree teams with arrow key. So we've added a convenient way to navigate in Sirius Desktop. Now you can expand tree items effortlessly using the right arrow key, and this makes the navigation really smoother and more intuitive, as you can see on the video. So just use the different keys and you can go up and left, right, and so on to navigate your tree. Okay, next one. Up next, a new mode for pasting element layout. In Sirius Desktop, we've introduced a fresh mode for pasting element layouts, giving you more control over the visual arrangement. We know that flexibility is key, and now when pasting layout elements, you can choose between precise positioning with absolute coordinates or an optimized layout based on groups. We introduced also update with the possibility to define selection after tool execution. Now you can experience a seamless workflow as your selection automatically adjusts after tool execution. This enhancement optimizes your interaction, ensuring a smoother and more intuitive user experience. So it is possible to select an arbitrary existing key object after a tool execution. This is not an active feature by default. You need to set a property to use it on your modeler. The next one. We enhance your editing experience with an expand all and collapse all keyboard shortcuts in tree editors. So now in Sirius Desktop, we introduced convenient keyboard shortcuts for expanding and collapsing all elements in the tree editor. You can effortlessly manage your view without reaching for the mouse. In Sirius Desktop, as usual, you're in control. You can now change external node labels on selection, and so you can effortlessly customize external node labels by selecting the label in a diagram. The next one is about alignment and distribution of edge labels. So now in Sirius Desktop, you can effortlessly align and distribute edge labels as what you could do with nodes before. So this enhancement brings a new level of precision to your diagram layout. As you can see on the video, you can select different labels, and just selecting the new tool, it will distribute all the labels accordingly. The next one. Now in Sirius Desktop, we've made containers even more user-friendly with auto size. So as you can see here, we could just change the size of the container, and the inside element will adapt. And we will have also layout optimizations. So containers with compartments behave more intuitively now thanks to automatic sizing and layout improvements. It's worth mentioning that these optimizations are turned off by default, but you can easily enable them through 3 system properties that you need to manage before launching your modeler. So the next one. Last year, the CE made a key decision, switching to Sirius for Papyrus project. Throughout this year, we've been actively supporting and working with alongside them to make this transition a reality. And so this is really a great moment for us. And so we have implemented several changes to seamlessly accommodate Papyrus Sirius Desktop integration. So one notable example is the support of D-diagram editor embedded in the multi-page editor, like what exists previously in the legacy Papyrus desktop version. For a detailed overview of these adaptations and insight into the process, I encourage you to check out the talk given by the CEA at EclipseCon 2023, titled The Great Eclipse Papyrus Migration from GMF and XWT to Sirius and Eve. This was a really great talk showing all the storage changes, and so please go back to this talk to get some more details about this transformation. So now, let's turn our attention to latest improvements in Sirius Web. As I said, one project, 2 flavors, so now we will switch to the Sirius Web one. We'll delve into the updates that enhance the user experience, providing a closer look at the new features and functionalities. So now, welcome to the Sirius Web world. Okay. I just want to remind that Sirius Web takes your custom modeling solution to the cloud, keeping the same spirit as the well-established Sirius Desktop. It offers a standard, ready-to-use web application with reusable components for integration into existing applications or cloud IDEs like VS Code and VIA. So Sirius Web allows you to effortlessly create and deploy modern modeling tools in the cloud. It's a seamless extension of the Sirius experience into the cloud environment. So for Sirius Web, everything you need is now in one place. The Sirius Web GitHub repository, as what it is for the Sirius Desktop also. So everything about Sirius now is on GitHub. All along the year, we roll out a new version every 8 weeks, as you see. And as you can see, so the project is buzzing with lots of activity. Now, let's shift gears and dive into the user-centric features of Sirius Web. So what you see will be what the end user will see when they will use your modeler. So first, to facilitate end user onboarding, we've introduced the notion of templates. When users initially land on the project's browser, which serves as the central hub for project management, they now have the option to create a new project based on predefined templates. So this provides a really helpful starting point for their work. It could initialize just some models elements, semantic element, but also some default representation with content inside this representation. Really, it depends on what you specify. The next focus revolves around improvements to the Explorer. So here is a great update. Now you can choose whether to link the Explorer and diagram view with the new link with editor option, the one with the red square. So it gives you more control, allowing you to keep your tree items neat and clear without automatic synchronization and interruptions. So this is not all, as you can see in this view. We've made actions like new model and upload model more accessible by placing them closer to the relevant elements, so closer in the Explorer tree. So these improvements aim to make your experience smoother. This is really one of our main points with Sirius Web. We want to be sure that the UX is good and great. So if you have any feedback about that, do not hesitate to give it to me. Another feature, we've added a new feature also to filter tree items in the Explorer view. It could be useful to retrieve an element in large models. And to do this, you just have to use the shortcut Control F when an Explorer element is selected and just start typing the name of the element you're looking for. All the matching names will be highlighted, and you can also filter all visible leaf trees which don't match. So this is another thing we do on the Explorer to make it easier to search in large models. We add the possibility to expand entirely a tree node. This is a function a feature that need to be used with caution, because if you use it on a root of a big model, it will make something like a timeout maybe. Okay, so now let's shift our focus to the enhancements in the diagram representation. A significant move for us, we have transitioned from Sprotty to Reactflow in Sirius Web for the diagram rendering. It's a powerful library for creating interactive node-based graphs. And so the shift to Reactflow really enhances the modeling experience. It will provide optimized performance, more intuitive interactions, and really a broader range of functionalities. I will not detail all those functionalities because there is so much to say about that. But you'll try it with the next version of Sirius Web, and you'll see that really it's a game changer. So one of the improvements we made in Sirius Web, which also helps your end user to stay focused, still working in a large diagram with lots of elements. Sometimes a user may want to focus only on certain elements that are more relevant to his use. So you can now hide some elements or fade them in a diagram through the UI. So if a diagram element is hidden, all contained nodes and connected edges have to be hidden too. So as you can see, you can have kind of two different kind of layers in the same diagram with some more elements that are more visible than others. Another interesting thing which exists in Sirius Desktop, I'm pretty sure that you love the Sirius Desktop compartments. It's really a useful feature. So now it also exists in Sirius Web, and we support vertical compartments to display list elements like the one you see here. I know that it's a first step. We will continue to improve in the next releases. We still have some issues with layer resizing and so on, but this is the first step to support compartments. Another kind of compartment, we have also introduced freeform compartments in Sirius Web. And this new feature enhances your modeling experience, providing more flexibility in organizing and presenting information with compartments. One thing which is really cool from my point of view, to simplify visualization, Sirius Web now includes collapse and expand features. So whether you want to focus on specific sections or get a comprehensive view, these controls offer flexibility in managing the visibility of your diagram elements. All those kind of tools are defined, collapse and expand tools, are defined by the specifier of the modeler and can be used really easily by the end user thanks to a tool in the contextual palette. We try to improve also the way to represent your different information on diagrams. And so we introduced new edge markers, including circle, fill circle, cross circle, redefine, and find by. So we added some of them. It's possible to add some new again in the future. So these additions expand your toolkit, allowing for more diverse and expressive diagram representations. It's really easy with Sirius Web to add some more, so do not hesitate if you feel that some are missing. Another significant improvement in Sirius Web is the introduction of a seamless drag and drop feature. So this allows you to move and rearrange elements within your diagrams effortlessly. What's noteworthy is that the behavior attached to the drop action can be specified by the Studio Maker, providing customization options for a more tailored modeling experience. So this is also really a great kind of tools which exist in Sirius Desktop and now exist in Sirius Web. Another new feature. When editing a diagram, it can be useful to fix the place of some elements to prevent unintentional moves. Now you can pin and unpin nodes. A pin node cannot be moved anymore. This is what pin means. You can so use the unpin element palette item to unpin the selected element. So this could be really useful when you work on some layout and you want to fix some part of some elements in your diagram to be sure that you will not move them unintentionally. Okay. Now let's shift our focus to the latest improvements in the form representation. The first thing we've introduced this year is the concept of groups in form. A group is used to represent a section in a detailed view tab, like it was with the Sirius Desktop version. We now offer also a basic image widget, which allows you to represent images inside your forms. And we had a very cool thing, which is a rich text edition widget. The widget behaves in a similar way to the existing text field and text array widgets, except that the text value should be valid markdown, and so can be edited in a WYSIWYG way by the end user. We also added the reference widgets that allows the addition of both mono-valued and multi-valued references. This widget already exists in Sirius Desktop. It comes from the If project. So we reproduce this widget, but making some evolution to be useful with the web application. So the widget has several features for managing the reference available through the various icons you'll have. The three dots icon opens a modal, as you can see, from which the user can select one object compatible with the reference, or more in the case of multi-valued reference. This will bind them to the reference. We have an enhanced object search in the modal, which provides options to filter the tree by name and to collapse, expand the various containers. The arrow icon modifies the order of the different objects. And these arrow icons are only shown when the reference is multi-valued, and the delete icon unbinds the project. Okay. And you see here that the reference widget is pretty much a great widget. The next one is about enhancing the readability of the select and multi-select widgets. Those are existing since the beginning of Sirius Web, but we added a new small thing, which is the show icon property to the style of these widgets. So this property allows for the display of the semantic elements icon, and this is really useful when you have many kind of different elements in the same select list. Another thing. Until now, filling out a form could be challenging for new users. What value should I enter in this text field? Do I need to follow a particular format? So to address this concern, we have introduced a new help expression property for all the widgets of a form. This property enables the Studio Maker to add a tooltip on the property represented by the widgets. So it will really help the end user to understand what you are expecting when you create a form. Another valuable addition is the ability to enable or disable widgets within forms. So this feature grants you greater control over the interactivity of form elements, allowing for more dynamic and user-specific experiences. Here you can see that we created a list with a button, and we defined that we could add only 5 elements in the list. And so when there is 5 elements, the button needs to be disabled. So this is totally possible now with Sirius Web. Okay. Now let's transition our focus to the studio makers and what you can specify. In the latest developments, Sirius Web introduces explicit palette definition. So this means that now studio makers now have more control over tailoring the palette, allowing for a more refined and personalized modeling environment. As you can see, you can define contextual palette for the diagram, or for when you select a node, which kind of tooling you are providing on this kind of node. You can have creation tool, deletion tool, edition tool, and so on. Another powerful mechanism was introduced in Sirius Web. The purpose is to make the possibility and the ability to provide your own images at runtime when the server is running. So notably, now the images you provide, you have a mechanism to download images onto the server. This will be improved again in the next release of Sirius Web, but this was really the first step, giving you the possibility to upload images on the server. And notably, then the images you provide at runtime become globally usable across all the views you define. Another interesting thing for people using the view definition modeler to create the new views and your new diagram, your new form, all your new representation. So we have support for completion in the view details for domain types and IQL expression, like what we have in Sirius Desktop. So any field in the property view which has a green background expects a domain type, like in Sirius Desktop, and yellow background expects an interpreted expression. In these fields, autocompletion can be triggered now, and when hitting autocompletion on an empty expression, the first completion proposal will correspond to the features, services, and so on. So all the ones which are available on the current element. This is really useful. We have introduced also the color palette concept to group all available colors in a view model in the same place. So from now, you no longer need to redefine a color shared by several styles many times. Simply add it to the color palette and select it from the desired styles. Another thing which exists in Sirius Desktop and now exists also in Sirius Web, mapping definitions lies at the core of diagram customization, determining how various graphical elements are represented and behave. This is really the core of the heart of Sirius. So thanks to precondition expression, now these precondition expressions are available on node, on edges, on all the kind of mapping you can create. You can create and render elements based on specific conditions using AQL, exactly as you did with Sirius Desktop. One thing which is really cool, because it does not yet exist in Sirius Desktop, but now it exists in Sirius Web. So we are thrilled to introduce the Rotatable border node in Sirius Web. I expect this one for a long time. So the border node, as you can see, dynamically changes based on the border to which it is attached within its container. So this is really cool. Here we are using the same kind of image for each side of the container, but you could change and make different images depending on the side of the border you put the border node. So another thing about forms. the idea is that we continue our work to enrich forms, and with this, the first thing is that we want to help you to represent what would be your forms in the end for your end user directly when you create it, thanks to the WYSIWYG editor we developed last year. So now you can create an element, and when you style this element, you can directly see, thanks to the style preview, you can see the static styles directly in the form preview. It's not possible to make this for the dynamic styling because it depends on semantic values. But for static styles, you can see all the different kinds of styles. So for example, here you have green and red buttons that are defined thanks to styles. Another thing we had in forms is we add support for multiple tabs in a form. And now, as what you can do with Sirius Desktop, you can define several pages in your form, and it will be represented thanks to different tabs in the end for your end user. We had also the concept of toolbar actions. A group can also define toolbar actions, which will be used to create buttons in the toolbar of the group to let the end user execute some operations easily. So now let's shift to the latest enhancement tailored for developers in Sirius Web. So our commitment is to staying up to date, and so it includes regular updates to our stack dependencies, as we did for Sirius Desktop. So in the latest version of Sirius Web, we've upgraded to Java 17, Spring Boot 3.1.2, and so to React Flow 11.8.1. So looking ahead, this means as we switch to React Flow, this means that the next step for us involves removing Protein and Snapdown from the stack. So we upgrade the dependencies, and when we do not use anymore some part of them, we just remove them. One important improvement for you as specifier, as studio makers, is that now you can use all I show you in the form to make your detailed views, so the equivalent of the properties views in Sirius Desktop, and to define your details view exactly as you want and how they should be representing the different elements, the different properties of your elements. So this improvement, so building upon the existing form description mechanism in Sirius Web, you have now the freedom to craft view properties with precision and creativity, whether it's adjusting colors, layouts, or adding interactive elements. The possibilities are endless. We are still providing by default views, but now you can just create a form and say to Sirius Web that you want that this form will be used for each kind of elements or for those elements. And that's a really powerful thing. Another thing which is really important from a developer point of view is to be able to give some feedback to your end user. So we've added also the possibility to send feedback messages from custom Java service directly on the UI. And to do that, you just have to depend on our new service in your Java code. And after your code will be triggered by the action of a widget, for example, the message will be displayed on the screen, and as you can see, there is lots of different possibility for the style of this message. Another interesting thing is that we want Sirius Web to be extensible, and so we offer also the possibility to contribute any custom widgets you would need to forms. So we provide by default widgets, but you are able to customize it and to provide any kind of widgets you want to develop. Another thing we provide in order to be even more extensible and to make the framework even more extensible, we gave you the capability to contribute any React component as a custom tool in the contextual palette. So for example, here I have a modeler which shows the code of Sirius Web. And I added a tool which is named Code Lookup. And when I click on it, I see exactly the code corresponding to this part. And I can even more go further by just navigating to the GitHub, to the code on GitHub. So this is a kind of example you can develop of a specific custom tool you can add really easily with Sirius Web now. Next one. Another interesting news for developers. We have upgraded the backend of Sirius Web with advanced query capabilities, merging the concept of GraphQL and AQL. And here is what it means for you. First, you have Java services integration. So we seamlessly integrated Java services from AQL into GraphQL, offering a kind of unified interface for easy access. And so second, you get a unified API layer. Combining GraphQL and AQL endpoints means you can execute AQL requests alongside traditional GraphQL queries, all through one entry point. So if we dive a little bit into the practical example I put here, first, you use GraphQL to create a project using the project ID found in the URL. So this is known as the editing context ID in Sirius Web. Then you tap into the contents Java service to retrieve the project content. And third, you store the content in a variable called root. And then, last, you can enhance your query by adding a nested request to retrieve all names of elements within the root element. So this is a really cool thing that can be used by developers now and is available thanks to the Sirius Web API. Another really interesting thing for developers, we understand users and developers, we understand that our users have different needs for creating views. That's why now we have two ways to create your view, to create your modeler. So the first one, the one you know from the beginning of Sirius with Sirius Desktop, is the kind of low-code workbench. For engineers in specific domains, a click and configure interface lets you create views without extensive coding knowledge. Now, we offer also a high-level API. So in Sirius Web, the Sirius Components View Builder module introduces a simple API for developers to create views programmatically. So it's really great for complex studios you have to create, providing concise code and easy maintenance. So now you can create your modeler only with textual syntax. I expect that you are still with me. Now that we've covered the latest advancements, consider this our small pause, a collective deep breath before we plunge into what's waiting for us in 2024. And I hope that you're still alive. So let's explore what comes next. Now let's turn our attention back to Sirius Desktop. So buckle up as we explore the exciting developments on the Sirius Desktop horizon. Get ready for a major leap with Sirius Desktop 7.4, slated for releases as part of the Eclipse March version. 2024 March version. So let's take a sneak peek into the significant enhancements and features coming your way. The first thing, we have introduced support for copying and pasting styles between different diagrams, and now you can get the layout from a diagram and reproduce it to another one. So this is a really cool feature. Plus, to make things clearer, the three existing paste options, paste format, paste style, and paste layout, are now referred to as semantic paste in the user interface. So we are trying to just explain we are trying to improve the naming of the different tooling to make this more clear. So now let's talk about some interesting improvements in Sirius Desktop 7.4 that will come in the next release. This is related to layout. We have added a new layout action that lets you arrange the direct children of the selection on the diagram. So here you can see on the video, you can apply this tooling on the layout selection and ta-da! It layouts the different child of the selection. You can enjoy the flexibility of arranging the layout of border nodes also from the selection, and not just the entire diagram. Notice also the name change. The arrange actions are now called layout for clearer navigation. And so we expect that this enhancement will make your diagram organization even more efficient. The next one is about pin and pin evolutions. So in Sirius Desktop, in the next version, so we've evolved the pin and pin feature. Now there is a handy checkbox to ignore the pinning of all elements during layout actions. And the pin and unpin actions have seamlessly merged into a single checkbox action. Additionally, the preference for marking moved items as pinned is now disabled by default. Let's dive into the improvements made in Sirius Table for the same version, the 7.4. So you can see that font type and default size now sync with preferences settings under the general appearance colors and fonts. And the default colors in Sirius Table have been revamped to align with preferences settings, so providing a more consistent look and feel with other views and editors you have in your Eclipse. Additionally, expression and tools in tables have received an injection of more variables, so you have much more variables available in tables, and this will really help you to specify what you want when you create a table with Sirius Desktop. In Sirius Desktop 7.4, we've revamped also color selection with a really user-friendly pop-up. I will show you that. Not choosing colors for labels, fill, and lines is a breeze, as you can see. The pop-up offers 4 categories, which are visible here. Last used, custom, suggested, and basic colors. Another thing we worked on for the next version, the 7.4, we've enhanced the export of diagrams as SVG images. The export process is now consistent and repeatable as long as resources remain unchanged. So we have refined the mechanism to eliminate random XML IDs we are used to use before, ensuring so a more predictable export. Another thing, in Sirius Desktop 7.4, we moved the ELK version, and so the ELK version has been upgraded from the 0.7.1 to the 0.9, and so be aware that due to improvements or refactoring in ELK itself, certain configuration option identifiers have been renamed or deleted. So if you are using ELK with Sirius, when you move to the next version of Sirius Desktop, you need to check that. So, as we step into 2024, our commitment to the Papyrus Sirius project remains unwavering, and expanding on our current work, we are gearing up for more steps aligned with CA's announcements as they will unveil a Papyrus version in 2024 based on Sirius Web, as they explained at EclipseCon last year. And I want really to give a special thanks to the CEA for supporting these developments and funding accordingly the Sirius enhancements. We truly appreciate the collaboration and commitment to the evolution of the Sirius Desktop and Sirius Web projects. So, the last bunch of things for you. Now let's dive into what's coming up for Sirius Web in 2024. As we move forward into 2024, you'll notice a significant stride in aligning capabilities between Sirius Web and Sirius Desktop. So the gap is narrowing, bringing a more seamless and unified experience for our users across both platforms. Now, I want us to let's take a closer look at the feature of Sirius Desktop and Sirius Web. The following slides will outline the similarities and differences just of some of them. So as I analyze the feature of Sirius Desktop and Sirius Web, I noticed that the gap is gradually narrowing. So, for example, full screen editing is a unique capability found only in Sirius Web, showcasing how the web platform brings added features for an enriched editing experience. And so, for example, this full screen editing is coming directly because we are using no Rackflow. Another one notable feature currently missing in diagram is the undo redo functionality, which is slated to be introduced in 2024, like the copy paste one we expect in the Sirius Web diagrams. Sirius Web introduces also a flexible design with no fixed palette. So this is reflecting a deliberate design decision. So it will be kept as KO for the web because we think that contextual palette is really easier. This comes with the fact that with Sirius Web, we try to rethink the user experience. So really do not hesitate to give us feedback about what you think we are doing now. It also brings a range of new capabilities with Sirius Web, which are not yet existing in Sirius Desktop, which will not exist maybe in Sirius Desktop, such as, for example, the magic connector. No, you have just one tool to connect two elements, and you select the source, you select the target, and then a contextual palette appears to provide you which kind of edge of relation you can create between these two selected elements if there is some more than one which exists. Another things which exist in Sirius Web is the hide fade, as I show you, the collapse expand tools, and also the ability to create custom tools, setting it apart from Sirius Desktop. So while some features are still missing in Sirius Web, like the capability to edit graphical properties, the platform makes contributing custom shapes also more straightforward than what it was with Sirius Desktop. And Sirius Web nearly covers the spectrum of sharing and exporting features now. The only element still in progress in the diagram view is an outline view, a kind of outline view. This is missing in the diagram component, but we expect to implement it in 2024. So work is ongoing to enhance layout features in Sirius Web with a particular focus on improving manual layout experiences. Layout is complex. Soon, new tooling will be introduced, including align distribute tools. For example, pinning option, as you see, we start working on that, and we refined also the edge management, encompassing style and bend points, and we try to have some more assisted layouts than what exists in Sirius Desktop. In addition to the Sirius Web open source project, we provide at Obeo the Obeo Cloud platform for creating collaborative graphical modeling solution. OCP is developed as an open core product based on Sirius Web. It encompasses enterprise-grade features and so can be deployed on public, private clouds or on-premise environments with support and upgrade guarantees included. So this is another kind of project which will give you some more components over Sirius Web. And so in 2024, Sirius Web will play a pivotal role in supporting 3 significant projects. This includes the Papyrus one, as mentioned earlier. It will include a new open source Eclipse project named SysOn, and the Obeo Smarty, which is an Obeo product designed for enterprise architecture, which will include typically the OCP component. So these ventures showcase the diverse and impactful application of Sirius Web. Just explaining what SysOn is. SysOn is an Eclipse open source project that utilizes Sirius Web to develop an authoring tool for SysML v2. And notably, for you as Sirius Web developers, both SysOn and Papyrus Web are substantial industrial projects with strong support from industries emphasizing the practical application of Sirius Web capabilities. So now let's shift to the roadmap ahead. In the first and second quarter of 2024, we have planned for 2 releases. In our upcoming releases, we are thrilled to introduce Gantt charts. So this feature lets you specify and manage Gantt views. It's a usual, Gantt are useful visual representation for showcasing start and finish dates of various elements. Widely applicable beyond project task and scheduling. Here it's a classical Gantt task, project task scheduling things, but you can map this on any kind of meta model. It's the power of Sirius. Another kind of new representation which comes with the next version of Sirius Web. we'll introduce the capability to specify and manipulate a deck representation. It's a visual format featuring cards in lanes, commonly seen in tools like Kanban boards, for example. And our last coming new view, I'm proud to introduce portals. It's a novel representation in Sirius Web that doesn't need any studio specification. So end user can directly use them. It acts as a patchwork where end users can seamlessly organize representations. So this feature proves invaluable for aggregating representations into a centralized space. Users can effortlessly create portals for any object within a model. So this is really a great thing. You can now have on one common place lots of different representation, and they are not only read-only, they are you can directly edit elements from this portal as they are representation embedded inside the portal. I explained earlier that last year we worked on the show hide capabilities. So Sirius Web will bring enhancements to the show hide functionality in the next releases, providing users with improved control over the visibility of elements within diagrams. It could be about labels, about icons, about the capability to fade, to collapse, to expand, and maybe to add some more filters later. Another thing, as right now we don't support yet the undo redo when you delete something in Sirius Web, it could be critical. So we had a new deletion confirmation dialog. This will be introduced in the next release as a 2024.3, so for the March one. This is the purpose is to ensuring a more deliberate and controlled user experience when removing elements from representations. Another thing we create to help about layout, we introduce helper lines. The purpose is to aid users in achieving precision and alignment while arranging elements within representations. And we are still working on forms. As I said, we stopped working on the capability to give users the possibility to add images. Now we expand the form customization with the addition of new widgets, including an image picker. So the end user will be able to select an image, and this will be uploaded thanks to the mechanism I presented you earlier on the server. And this will be able to be used by the views and so on. And another kind of tooling we will provide will be, we will introduce a simple but yet powerful multi-selection tool. So allowing users to easily choose and apply various tools and behaviors to multiple elements within their representation. You select a group of elements and then a contextual palette will appear depending on what the studio makers decide, and you'll be able to apply that to the selected, to your selection. Another really important step for us is our focus now is on transforming Sirius Web into an extensible platform, making it easier for you to create custom applications by reusing components. So no need to fork the Sirius Web application. The idea is to get ready for a more streamlined and customizable development experience. We have also an exciting roadmap ahead with 3 more releases planned until the end of 2024. So this is for the last quarters of 2024. Coming soon to Sirius Web, a search view will improve how you navigate and filter models within a project to provide a more efficient and user-friendly navigation experience. You'll have also, in addition to diagrams, forms, Gantt, deck, and so on, Sirius Web will allow the creation of tables. So tables will provide a tabular representation of model data, offering a structured and organized way to view and manipulate information. Another kind of representation we want to add this year, building on the success of Sirius Desktop, we will work on bringing back the 3 representations to Sirius Web. So this feature offers a familiar and effective way to visualize, organize, and interact with data. And Exciting developments are also on the horizon of OCP, as we plan to introduce, for example, the comment views. This feature will enhance collaboration by allowing users to engage in interactive discussions and provide feedback directly within the platform on their semantic elements, on their models, on their diagrams, and so on. So we value your feedback to shape the future of Sirius. Our adaptive roadmap ensures we address what matters for most to you, and in the coming months, both Sirius Web and OCP will evolve based on your interests and needs. So we really welcome contributions from the community and sponsorship opportunities. So your input is really crucial as we work to enhance and expand the Sirius project. I will move that to the Q&A session now. Do we have questions? Okay, we have some questions. The first one is about rotatable border nodes. So will there ever be available in Sirius Desktop? In fact, they are available in Sirius Desktop, but not in Sirius Desktop. It's not integrated to the project, but you can use rotatable border nodes. It exists. There is an example which exists in open source. You can see how I use to develop that in UML Designer. If you remember this modeler I developed a few years ago, there is rotatable border nodes in it. So you can develop that. It is just that it's not yet integrated in Sirius Desktop. Okay, the next one. Maybe it is a good idea to give the modeler an impact analysis on a delete. Delete a single element can start a chain reaction. Definitely, this is one of the ideas we have. We would like to get a kind of impact analysis view when you delete an element, or even when you move an element, or so on. So those kind of views are views that we have in mind. Right now, the first idea is we support the delete confirmation dialog because to be sure that someone is not doing something you don't want to. Then we will implement the undo redo to be sure that when you do something, you can undo it. And the impact analysis views are coming after that. But this is a really good point. The next one. Okay, where is the best place to find documentation on the protocol between Sirius Web and the backend? So right now, there is few documentation about Sirius Web. We are really sorry about that. You can find some, which is not, in fact, on Sirius Web, but about OCP. But in fact, it is documentation of Sirius Web because mostly, most of the thing from OCP is Sirius Web. So this is docs. I think it's docs.ocp.org. I don't remember exactly. I could push that later on if you'd like. But this year, we will work on the documentation and we will create soon a detailed documentation for Sirius Web. So this will come. This is in our roadmap. I forgot to put that on the slide, but definitely we know that Sirius Web is missing from documentation. If you have any question, do not hesitate to use the discussions on GitHub. The team is really would be really happy to answer any question on the discussions. So if you don't find something in the code directly or in the missing documentation, you can ask directly to the team. This one is about SysOn and Capella. So the question is there a relation between SysOn and Capella? So SysOn is a new project based on Sirius Web. The idea is to get an authoring tool about the SysML v2 language. Capella is not SysML v2 aware, but the idea about SysOn is to make Capella maybe aware of SysML v2 also. And so the main point about that is our commitment with SysOn to make sure that we will make it, how can I say that? We will make it available to collaborate with Capella, so in order that both will have a future together. Another last question. How collapse feature work on Sirius Desktop and what is a simple way to implement it? There is no collapse feature in Sirius Desktop. It only exists in Sirius Web. So thanks again for your attention. See you then. Bye.